And hello again. Maryhill Museum is what we are talking about today, and I have Colleen Schafroth with me, and it's been a real pleasure. This is the last segment, so I want to talk about the things that are coming to the museum. There's a comic book collection or something, and various other things.
Well, before we get to the comic book,
Okay.
we have work by glass artist William Morris coming to the museum this summer. William Morris does these wonderful vases. It's called Native Species, and these vases are the flora and fauna of the Pacific Northwest. And I can't even begin to describe to you how absolutely gorgeous this work is. There is no way any photograph, any image could take its place. You need to come and see the light filtering through the glass, and the squirrels and the birds and the plants that are on these vases come to life in front of you. So that starts this summer, June 12th, and it runs through September.
Okay.
And then in the fall, we have Comics at the Crossroad, the art of the graphic novel. And this exhibit is going to be fantastic because what we're doing is bringing in the top Northwest comic artists and writers. And the
Like the
Northwest
illustrators?
Oh,
Nice.
yes. And we are bringing these people in and we're showing their work. One of them has done a graphic novel on the Constitution, article by article, and I'm talking about the Constitution of the United States. And there are others who have done some equally wonderful work. This is not the comic book we all think of, like Superman. This is all kinds of cool stuff that talks about serious subjects to very funny subjects, and this show is really going to be quite interesting and wonderful.
And so the public can actually come out and meet the illustrators, the writers, of these comic books?
We're hoping that at the opening we'll have a lot of these writers and illustrators there. We also are planning to have a couple of workshops where people can learn to draw their own comics.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Tell their own stories, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So that is this fall, you said?
That's this fall.
That's
that
coming
starts
this
in
fall?
September. So
Okay.
get on the website at
Okay.
www.maryhillmuseum.org and you'll get all the dates and all of the particulars about each of those shows.
Great, great. Well, the internet, you just brought up your website, and so many people today, we've become the society of, well, I can just look at it online. Why would I need to go and do it in person? And I think you kind of touched on that a bit with, you've got to come out and see the light coming through this glass and stuff. But what makes museums relevant today when basically the internet is just an encyclopedia of anything and everything you could ever want to know? But it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. And encyclopedias are great. I love them. And I think I use the internet. I am an avid user of the internet. But seeing something that touches your heart can only be done in person. It can send shivers up your spine. Like sometimes when you're looking at a Rodin drawing or a Rodin sculpture, just the real essence of the line that runs through the piece just comes alive for you, and you don't see that in an image. You have to be there in front of it to experience the emotional impact that a piece can have on you or on your kids or on anybody.
Yeah.
And the museums are there. May 18th is International Museum Day. And museums...
Didn't know there was such a day.
There is. It's International Museum Day. Museums are there to tell our stories. And our stories need to be told. And sometimes these stories are horrific, and sometimes they're absolutely beautiful, but they're there to tell our stories. They need to be told, and people need to see them. And they need to see them in person. There is a difference. There is truly a difference in seeing an original work.
Yeah. Well,
in the flesh.
Yes. Well, I certainly don't need to be convinced because I believe it. But for people that may not realize what it really is like, it's very important. You mentioned kids, and that's one thing. I saw a piece one time on some school kids that came out and visited. It's a place for kids too.
Oh, it's not only do we have our IC resource room where kids can play games and learn about art. But I think I've worked with kids for many, many years because I was the curator of education for a while. Kids know more about art than most adults, and they can handle almost any kind of art. And so to be in the gallery with a kid is like having your world opened up again and you can see through new eyes. I have learned more from kids from 3 all the way up to 25, actually, about the collections and about the artists. They just see things in a new light. So the best experience you can have is to take your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, whoever it is, and ask them about what they're seeing, because they're going to tell you things that will amaze you.
Right. They're going to see something totally different than what you're seeing.
Totally different, and from a different viewpoint because they're shorter.
Yeah. Well, that's a very good point.
That's right.
So, well, yes, it's definitely a place for all ages, something that needs to be experienced and experienced often, because like we talked about earlier, it's always changing.
It's always changing.
Always changing. 20-something years you've been there, and it still fascinates you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Founders Day being coming up this weekend.
That's right, this weekend.
So anybody that has been lured in by what we've been talking about definitely needs to come out and check it out. So,
oh yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. It starts Friday night with the Gorge Open Studios reception. So it's free to the public. It's free to anyone who wants to come meet a bunch of artists and what they have to offer. And then it moves into Saturday with a whole bunch of activities and lots of fun. And then Sunday would be a great day for reflection on all of that. So we hope you come out.
Well, absolutely. It sounds like something not to be missed.
That's right.
So, well, Colleen, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Really nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing the extended version of Localite for us. So.
Well, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, obviously you can check out Maryhill's website for more information, but don't just check out the website. Make sure and go out in person. So we'll see you next time on Localite. Thanks for joining me. John Compton here saying thanks again for watching. And remember, if you've got a guest idea, let us know. Just visit localite.com.